What is up, everybody? It's Mike.
It's Sam.
It's you.
Let's talk about the happiest country in the world. And after I read this, I wanted to live there.
Yeah,
I literally wanted to live there. You might call me old-fashioned, conservative, whatever. I want to live here. Let's explain what we're talking about.
Yeah, so the country is Bhutan. It's a country between China and India, and it's like an independent Buddhist nation. So
Right.
The official religion is Buddhism. They have some pretty cool laws over there, right? All the movies are G-rated. That's awesome.
Wait. So what can you watch? What's
Disney
G-rated?
cartoons. Disney cartoons.
Even some Disney movies are not
PG, right?
PG.
G is
G is
even
nothing.
less than
G is like,
PG.
is Bambi G or PG?
It's gotta be G. Bambi. Oh, but she dies.
Yeah,
Ooh.
there's a murder at the end.
I think it's G. Any cartoon that's Disney, I think they try
Like
to aim for G.
Dumbo will be G.
G. Dumbo's G. Oh yeah, Pinocchio, like those cartoons.
You know what's really sad? That we can't think of a really solidly G movie. Like, I'm just trying to rack my brain of not an animation film,
Right.
like just a regular
Oh.
film with adults in it, just acting. But
There's gotta be some.
There's,
There's definitely
what about
there's very
Jungle
few.
Book? Was
I mean,
Jungle Book
Oh,
G?
Jungle Book. Ooh. Or
I hope-
no, that's
it
PG
probably-
because
I
they're
mean-
scary. Like, yo, you know what's G? Sound of Music, right? Or
Oh,
not?
yeah.
Or not.
Wait,
Is-
wait.
Ooh. Oh, maybe
No,
there's movies
I
that
don't
you
think Sound of
maybe we
Music.
could talk about next time movies that you think are G but are actually.
You know what? I'm gonna look this up right now. G-rated movies. What are some G-rated movies? Example. Nemo. Okay.
Okay,
Of course,
yeah,
Nemo.
Aladdin. So we're talking
Of
about live
course.
action, right?
Yeah.
Oh, The Princess Diaries. I love that movie.
That's a G-rated
That's
movie, huh?
G-rated
I thought that would be
movie.
I love
PG.
that movie, but
I
I was a
love
young
that
girl
movie.
when I
Oh,
watched it.
You're right. Sound of Music.
Oh, okay, so it is G. Okay.
Oh, it's just mostly Disney movies.
It's mostly Disney movies,
And,
yeah.
and some
Charlotte's
oh,
Web.
Gone
Willy
with
Wonka.
Gone with the Wind.
Willy Wonka's
Wait. Gone with the Wind was G.
This is interesting.
Yo, Gone with the Wind
like-
was kind of creepy because people died in it.
Really?
Yeah, because the daughter fell off the horse. Spoiler alert. That's G? That's
Well,
crazy.
You know, not bad. This is a wide selection of movies. I was starting to think that there was gonna be no movies allowed.
I'll tell you right now, if I could only watch G-rated movies, I have no problem with that. Look at all these great
Well,
movies.
this was just my life before 10. Like before
Yeah.
before I turned 10, these were all the movies I watched.
I still
As
watch
soon
these
as-
movies.
I mean, I still watch them, but after I turned 10, I started watching some other movies, and then
Yeah.
my mind got wrecked.
Yeah. So
Wrecked, I tell you.
besides G-rated movies, okay, the plastic bags are forbidden. There's a national dress code. I mean, those are just some of the few things. But anyways, the point is, Bhutan is extremely peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's like an understatement because everyone is actually happy. There's actually a national happiness barometer, like that measures the happiness of their own
And there's
people.
an official position
Yeah.
called the happiness monitor, like minister of happiness.
Wow. Like, I guess this guy just is like, yo, is everybody happy? Good? All right, cool.
You know what this tells us though? Okay, like people nowadays, they feel like we need to have the most modern technology to be happy.
Right.
Like, okay, everybody is trying to find happiness,
Right.
Everybody's asking the question, what makes you happy? Everybody. And a lot of people say, I want all the money in the world. I want all the power in the world. I
Right.
want the next iPhone. I want the next laptop. I want the next game. That's what people most likely will say. Or like, love of my life, okay, whatever. But I think a lot of people would say money, right?
Right.
A lot of people would say stuff. I want stuff that makes me happy. Here we have an example of this. This is literally society back like hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Where people, I mean, this is like literally in Chinese it'll be 世外桃源, or like untainted little paradise,
Right.
like a little Garden of Eden of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might scoff at that, be like, you know what? How could I live without like my house of cards? How could I live without my Netflix? How could I live without my choice of wardrobe or whatever the heck? You know what? Apparently, in that country, that's not what's needed to make people feel happy. So we already have testaments. This is a testament of you don't need a lot of that external stuff to be happy.
Well, here's the thing though. They don't need that because what they have is deep spiritual connection. You know, what the rest of the world doesn't have, the majority, especially in modern society, is the connection to, the spirit. So that's why other people are like, yo, I need this, I need this, I need this, because that's what they need, this stimulation.
Well, they have spiritual satisfaction, I feel like. Well, they're apparently the last independent Buddhist kingdom in the world. And they actually did not used to be a democracy. They turned into a democracy in 2008. Anyway, so they're just starting to kind of like, I feel like nowadays they're a little bit more influenced by the outside world, like in general. They're on a higher spiritual plane. And I feel like, I hope they can hold on to that and continue with their happiness, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I wish that people can all be like this, but you gotta know, like, okay, most people, they can't just switch it over and be like, all right, I don't need all this stuff. But that's kind of like what we talk about is, you don't actually need it, but to fill that void, this is real. Like, these are actual people that have been happy for generations, and it's not just Bhutan. I believe that there are other nations in the world that experience similar happiness because they're very spiritually oriented. Now, some people would say, like in Finland and Norway, the Nordic countries are always very happy too, and of course they have other ways of making themselves happy. But this is definitely, I mean, if you look at spiritually inclined nations, like you could generally find, I think, a high level of happiness.
And I feel like that whenever you see like a country that's voted as most happy or something like that, it's never because they're so wealthy, everyone's like so high in like material wealth, which plays to one thing, you don't want to starve. But as soon as you have your basic needs met and you're satisfied with what you got, that's usually what makes the most happy population. So I think that's something to think about, instead of trying to like accumulate a bunch of things that you just really makes you more messy in the head. So
I feel actually kind of sad for that nation because now they're gonna change. I feel like if it ain't broke, why are you fixing it?
Right.
Like now I feel like there's the king stepped down, volunteer, like I'm gonna give the people democracy. But you know what? We have democracy in the U.S. How many of us are happy?
Right.
Like we are miserable. Like the U.S. is ranked, I think, like number 15 or 16 on the happy index. Like I think it's even worse in like bigger cities. I think that's more like people in Iowa that's probably happier.
Right.
People in New York are never happy.
San Fran, New York, nope.
15 isn't that bad.
15 is
pretty
like
bad, right? If you think about a list of major places, and you're number 15, you're like, wait a minute, why can't I just go to
most people are like, America's the best. Blah, blah, blah. So there's 14 other countries much happier than we are. But like I said, I always wanted to go live in a time back in the day without all this complexity and stuff.
That's it.
You know what?
This is it right here.
People might hate me for saying this, but I'll say it. I mean, you know why it worked back in the day with a monarch?
Right.
Because think about the governments right now, right? Governments don't work because, at least, like, let's talk about the U.S. The U.S. controlled by major corporations. Whoever has money, lobbyists, they control the U.S. Right. So it's in their. That's why we cannot abolish guns because the gun lobby is one of the most powerful in the country.
Right.
All right. Let's say for a moment. I'm not advocating this obviously because there's bad examples of this like in Korea.
Right.
But let's say there's one person in charge.
Okay.
And he's a really compassionate, good king.
Yeah, like this guy.
He's like the Bhutan king of Bhutan. He's like getting rid of all guns.
Yeah.
No more guns. No more this, no more that. These are just common sense stuff. Instead of political bickering that nothing ever gets done, nothing ever changes. Like, you know why I don't vote? People say, if you don't vote, you don't change. Nothing changes. I mean, you guys might scrutinize me for not voting. I don't vote because it does not change.
Well, I don't vote because because it's a broken system. The two people that are presented to me, I don't want to vote for them. So you're basically forcing me to vote for someone I don't believe in. Now, I'll vote if there's someone who I'm like, yo, I think that guy can change the country.
But nobody can change a country.
Right.
Even the president, you become president, you're like, I want to fix this, you can't abolish guns. You cannot do it. You can only, you can go to war with someone, that's your choice.
That's your choice.
You can veto something. What else can you do?
Like in history class, one of the first things what can the president do? He could veto a bill.
That's like the most powerful thing.
But it is worthless because I just read something that then Congress vetoed Obama's veto. So really, you can't veto anything. We could all move to Canada though. Just pack up and move to
I feel like that's our solution every single time we come to this. We're just always like, let's move to Canada.
Because everything I read about Canada is like, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Canadian political system's also messed up.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, look, democracy is great, but when you have corruption, then it's futile.
Hopefully,
can I move to Bhutan? Can everybody just stay out of there and just?
Well, but now Bhutan is becoming more. I mean, you've got when you have smartphones in a country where people don't use it, and then television sets. hey, things are going to change.
I think that any political system could potentially work if people held themselves to a high standard. If the rulers, if the leaders, I don't care what political system it is, if you hold yourself to a higher standard and you treat yourself, you think about being a good person and not just think about yourself for once, then I think any system could potentially work.
Absolutely.
And then we can debate, well, which one is more effective.
Right.
But at this point, because everyone's only thinking about themselves, and then the general culture, general thinking is not good, then no system is going to work well. You have totalitarianism, like a monarchy could turn into a totalitarianism,
Right.
and then on the democracy is influenced by, capitalism and basically got corrupted. And so in this case, nothing is good. But in reality, everything could be good. So you just kind of
Well, let us know if you want to move there. And I'll go with you. Thanks for watching.
See ya.